everyone, Blaze here, welcome back to another anime haul video. Today we're going to be doing Bandai Entertainment. This is going to be the first part of two, I assume, because I have quite a bit here. I basically picked up all the Bandai Entertainment DVDs that I know, or at least I'm pretty sure I've never shared on video and had a chance to talk about. So yeah, should we just dive into it? It's kind of weird doing a Bandai haul at this point. Like, they've been gone for 11 years, but I did like their output and a lot of their releases, so let's talk about some. Okay, so first up we got a series from the year 2000 called Argento Soma. Argento Soma? I'm not really sure how to pronounce this one. I don't really know how else you would, but yeah. So yeah, this is a series from the year 2000 done by Sunrise. It's kind of like a sort of a hidden gem. I don't really see people talking about this one too much, and I did really like it. I've seen this one. It's basically a mecha series, sort of in the same vein as something like Evangelion. Like, it's definitely riding that, still riding that tail in the year 2000 of, Evangelion's influence, just like affecting basically anything with giant robots or anything similar to that in its plot. Like, it's still very Evangelion-like. And yeah, I think this is a really cool show. This is the most bland freaking cover art imaginable. I don't know what Bandai was thinking at this time with their Anime Legends sets. They kind of all had this like early 2000s freaking CG wallpaper, like PC wallpaper thing going on with just the logo. This one's probably the worst of the lot because the logo is kind of bland to begin with. Yeah, I know if the disc art. Yeah, disc art shows some of the nice character designs this show has, and this, one of the cool things with like Anime Legends sets of the period is you got all of the like volume discs included, which is just, as I've mentioned before, the best possible outcome for a complete collection is to have basically just the volume discs in a complete set like this, because then you get all the extras, all the extra trailers, the nicer bit rate and things like that. So yeah, so this show is basically about this guy who is kind of like infatuated with this girl, or in fact I think they may even be going out. It's been a while since I've seen this, and this happens right at the beginning. And yeah, he goes to like this factory where there's this like giant robot thing that the military are working on, which is sort of like in the same vein as like Evangelion and Eureka 7. Like, there's like a biological element to this robot. It's not just pure machine. There's more to it than that. There's more life to it than that. And basically this huge explosion happens. Everyone's kind of dead, and except our main character, who wakes up in hospital, finds this out, basically ends up befriending this guy called Dr. X, that I did read on the back to refresh my mind. There's no way I would have remembered that otherwise. It's such like a cheesy like 1960s anime type trope of like calling someone Dr. X, even though this came out obviously in the year 2000. But yeah, he has taken on this new identity and basically infiltrates this like military organization called Funeral, and ends up trying to enact revenge on this giant robot being, kind of like take it down from the inside. But it does mean that he has to use it. That's part of his job in Funeral, I'm pretty sure, is to use this giant robot thing. So it's kind of like a mix of like, you killed everything I loved and everyone I cared about, but at the same time, like, he has to use. So he wants to like destroy it, but at the same time, in order to keep cover, he has to use it and things. And there's a really cool twist towards the end of this series that I really, really, really loved. Like, one of my favourite twists I've ever seen in anime. I didn't necessarily see it coming. That's why I think I enjoyed it so much. I just remember the end of the episode just going, what the hell? Are you kidding? Like, it's such a late turn for the show, like, in terms of like, but it opens up so much. If I was to like compare this, like I said, it's kind of like Evangelion. It has sort of like light politics in, well, I shouldn't say light, given what I'm about to say I should compare it to, but like Gasaraki, sort of similar in that, in terms of its atmosphere and tone at times. This is pretty much the last Sunrise cell animated series, I think, if not the last. It has digital shots in it, but there's a lot of stuff in this that is originally cell animated. It's one of those weird cases where there's mixes of the two. I presume like the original broadcast was maybe all entirely cell animated, and then the home video version, maybe they went back and touched it up, but did so using digital animation. So it's kind of a little bit weird and in that sense. You get that weird contrast of like super bright colours compared to the more muted cell animated stuff from shot to shot. It's not like tons of digital shots, but it's there. It's a great looking show when it's cell animated. Like I said, one of the last ever, if not the last ever one that Sunrise did. One of the last ever cell animated shows within, you know, the last 6 months of that being, you know, the norm basically. So yeah, it looks really really cool. Yeah, I recommend it. Argento Soma. It's a cool. If you like Evangelion, I really recommend giving this one a shot. Not sure how expensive this set is. I don't think it's one of the more pricier Anime Legend sets around. It did get an art box with like the 6 volumes, but the art box was like a paper, like card, really flimsy art box. Definitely not in the same vein as a lot of the other Bandai art boxes, so I'm not sure I'd recommend that. This is bland cover art, but the show looks cool, so yeah, I'd recommend giving this one a chance if you ever see it around. It's kind of cool. Okay, so next we've got one that you can get really cheap, and like it's sort of a show that I'm gonna be slightly. You're not gonna get this opinion from everyone. I really really like this show. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I absolutely loved it. I think most people will give it closer. Honestly, I've seen like 6s and 7s. You know, fair to good sort of range. So. But, you know, from me to you, I love this show. I thought it was great. So, and it's one of the cheaper ones that you can still buy in this sort of packaging. So, yeah, we got Kaze no Yojimbo, complete collection. Originally released as 6 volumes with no art box, but you can get this collection for pretty cheap, under $30 for sure. Yeah, so what is this? This is loosely based on the Akira Kurosawa film of the same name. Like pretty loosely, given like that set in like the samurai period. This is most definitely not. It's set in like a sleepy town. I'm not really sure what decade. I don't think it really matters. Like I would argue maybe like 80s, 90s or something. I can't quite remember. It doesn't say on the back. I don't believe. No. Anyway, set in like this sleepy town in Japan. This guy comes to town, and at least I think it's Japan. Kimijuku, yeah, it's set in Japan. Anyway, it's just I suddenly got thrown off guard because the main character's called George, so I was suddenly thinking, is it actually Japanese? But yeah, set in Japan, and he basically comes to this town to try and look into a mystery that he is aware of, is like tangentially related to, that happened 15 years prior in this town that caused a lot of people to die, I think, amongst other things. It's been a while. It's been like a couple of years since I watched this, so I don't remember all the ins and outs, and I'm glad about that. As I mentioned, I think in another video, that it means I can go back to it later, with, you know, knowing that I loved it, but not remembering everything about it, which is fun. So yeah, he comes to this town, tries to solve this mystery, and a lot of people in the town are kind of like really standoffish to him. And it turns out there's like basically the town is sort of split into two. You've got like these two powerful families, gangs if you will, and he kind of gets caught in between them as he tries to solve this mystery. And I think it's a really pleasant journey. It's kind of slow, it's kind of quiet, you know, 26 episodes long, I'm pretty sure it's 26. Yeah, 26 episodes long. So it's kind of it is a slow burn, but it's an enjoyable one. I really liked it. You get to interact with a lot of really interesting characters, and the mystery, while not like earth-shatteringly amazing, and like I'm gonna say that up front, it's not. Like it really isn't. It's still a fun show and a really good drama, and I really liked it. It's the sort of thing you just don't get a lot of in anime. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's got pretty decent digital animation for the period, because I think this has only came out in like 2001 or something. So yeah. Kaze no Yojimbo. It might not be actually that early. Maybe it was like 2000. It says 2001 2004. Kurosawa production, Sani Densetsu. So yeah, maybe it was 2001 then. Maybe I was right the first time. Should have just stuck with my whatever. Anyway, yeah. So Kaze no Yojimbo. Unfortunately, the disc art. I mean, it fits the show in terms of being like a mystery thing, but doesn't really show you a whole lot. But yeah, you can get this one really cheap. I highly recommend it. It's a really, really interesting series, and it has nice cover art for the complete collection, unlike the last one we looked at. So yeah, Kaze no Yojimbo, highly recommended. Okay, so I thought we'd just do a quick and easy one here. We've got... I used to own this in the art box 2 times. I had it in the nice... like fold-out art box with 6 volumes, a little ribbon that you pulled that have everything come out, and little drawers of extras, t-shirts even, I think, soundtrack CDs, and I sold it years ago, thinking I just don't need this show in my collection, maybe, or if I'm gonna get it, like maybe I'll get a different edition. And at some point, I ended up obtaining another art box version of it. The same art box version of it, and yeah, and then realizing, well, I don't need this. I just don't. So I finally got rid of that and finally just got the edition that is much more better for my collection, given the size of it. This fits in much nicer. So I picked up the complete collection of Lucky Star on DVD. Yes, I'm aware there are Blu-rays. The Blu-rays do not look very good. It's sort of, I thought for, maybe that is why I originally sold it actually. Maybe I was intending to get the Blu-rays back in the day. Because I know that there's a version online of this where someone's done a lot of like this thing called warp sharping. They can make something look way nicer than it actually is, but it also distorts the line art. And if you're not aware, like you can really be caught off guard by that in a couple of screenshots. And I remember seeing Lucky Star like that and thinking, oh, it looks really good in HD. Okay, I'll just get the Blu-ray. But yeah, ultimately the Blu-ray doesn't look anywhere near that good. Like, it's fine, it's just an upscale, but it's not a nice one. So I figured I'd just pick up this edition because the art box sets never came with this, and I'd owned this for a while. Lucky Star, the OVA. So this is the only way to get this on DVD, at least, was in this single DVD release. Like, it never wasn't included in this set, wasn't included with the art boxes, or could fit in the art boxes. So I'd had this for a while on the shelf on its own, so I figured, well, I might as well just pair it up with the DVD, especially since the DVD has all the volume discs inside, as you can see here. So yeah, that's all 6 volumes of Lucky Star. This is a show I've seen only once, and it was quite a long time ago. I think I will like the show quite... I mean, I liked it the first time. I wasn't like overly in love with it, but I did like it. I think I would like this way more now that, you know, given the amount of anime I've seen, the amount of references that I'm now going to get that I didn't get in the past. Like, I think I'll just enjoy it a lot more. And I do, like, in general, just really like the general pace and, you know, slice of life element and just gentle humour, I guess, to it. Yeah, I mean, the main character here with the... I can't remember her name. The one at the top there with the blue hair. She's an absolute riot. So yeah, yeah. So yeah, happy to add Lucky Star into the collection again. And finally, for this part 1, is another one that I used to own in the art box and then sold it ages ago, and in anticipation of Funimation's eventual re-release. It was one of the ones that they rescued from Sunrise, and it took a really, really long time for them to bring it out on DVD, and when they did, it was in a compact case, which is fine, that's what I wanted, but it looked so ugly. The cover art was horrible. So in the end, I went and picked up an edition I could have got ages ago, but yeah, I picked up Witch Hunter Robin, the complete collection from Bandai. It does take up more space on the shelf, and while this cover art's honestly not that great, the cover art the Funimation chose, I just despise. I hate the look. The face that Robin's pulling, and like this weird, like, yeah, stuff going on around her mouth. Like, I'm sure I'm sharing it here. I hate that cover art. It looks so horrible. So yeah, I decided to get this one. Now, when I got it, I decided to rewatch the show. I remember liking the show the first time around. Unfortunately, on my rewatch, this is one of the rare cases where my rewatch actually turned me against the show a bit. I mentioned this, I think, in my collection video that I did like last year, where I love everything about this show except the actual plot. I think the plot is bad. It doesn't really go anywhere interesting, and the ending kind of sucks. It's a really typical anime trope ending, which I won't go into because it's the ending, but like, it's just something I've seen done in anime so many times, it just frustrates me. So yeah, but anyway, like the actual, like everything else about the show, like the character designs are some of my absolute favourites in anime, period. The soundtrack, again, is one of my absolute favourites in anime, period. The dub is great. I can't remember the name of the company right now. It's not Ocean, obviously. It's not New York. It's the LA studio. I'll write it down here. It's really annoying that I'm completely blanking on that right now. But yeah, it's got so many great actors in it, including Crispin Freeman, one of my favourite dub actors. It's a great dub. And yeah, just in general, it should be one of the best shows ever. Like, I love the atmosphere. I love watching the first couple of episodes of the show. Like, it's something I've put on in the background so many times when I'm just doing something else. I just want to, because I just love the general vibe of this show. But when I actually sit down to watch it properly, it just tails off towards the mid half and just becomes less and less interesting. So yeah, but I'm happy to own it because it is a show that I like in almost every other way, and it is a show, honestly, that I would watch again, and probably again after that, just in the hope that someday it will all suddenly click and I'll absolutely love it, because the potential there is there for me, like, because I just, generally, everything else about it is honestly 10 out of 10 for me. Like, generally, it's one of Sunrise's most creative looking shows. I love the opening and ending themes as well. Like, I love everything apart from the plot. I just don't like the plot. I just think the plot is... It's not necessarily the plot is bad, I just think it's boring. I just don't think it really goes anywhere interesting. So, yeah. Witch Hunter Robin, don't know what you guys think about it, but if you've never seen it, I do highly recommend it. My opinion isn't something that necessarily loads of people agree with, but it is like a general consensus I have found where people go, well, the story, some people might not dislike it, or might dislike it less than me, if you will. They might not mind the plot too much, but yeah, just in general, this isn't like one of the great stories of our times or anything in the anime space for sure, but everything else about it is amazing. So, highly recommend giving this one a try if you haven't. So, yeah, that's going to be part 1, because I don't want to drag out these videos for too long anymore. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed. I've been Blaze, thanks for watching, and I'll see you hopefully pretty soon for part 2, where I'll be talking about, obviously, more Bandai stuff.